Hey folks, it's me, Frosty again. I wanna ask you a question. What comes to your mind when you hear Super Bear Adventure? Probably for some of you it's pretty much nothing familiar sounding, and possibly for some of you it's a comfort game that reminds you of good old Nintendo 64 games, and today's video is concentrated exactly on that game. It'll be a two-part video of me saving every bear on gold time. Basically, inspiration for this video came from Discord user who randomly texted me and said come back to SBA Discord. And we started talking a bit. He's a chill dude, to be honest, and I asked myself the question, what if I made a video about that? Can I still speedrun? Well, let's end this intro and sit down comfortably, get your food and drinks and enjoy today's video. So now we're in title screen. I was pretty much confused on how to start. I mean, I haven't played this game in a while. I tried to play it a bit, I completed it, but straight to the point, I started and I was presented with a new cutscene. Before there was a 3D cutscene that I don't remember pretty much, but this one looks much better and much smoother, to be honest, and I liked it a lot. And now we spawn in. I was pretty shocked with that animation in the beginning, because I don't remember anything much from this game and I don't remember that, and it looks pretty cool, to be honest. I also realized there was different music. Take a listen. I decided to move on, but I realized there was an invisible wall that wouldn't let me pass. I had to punch the dummy, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I think I could wall without bumping into anything now, and I dived under the water. I think I completed the belly stomp. I realized there were some new hologram things that looked pretty cool, and they repeated like their moves. After that I headed for Shika, and that's where our adventure began. I went after the trail of coins that was left on the ground. I don't think it was there before, but yeah, pretty cool addition. That's how I headed to our first level, Turtle Town. After spawning in, some text appeared and I was pretty much sure what to do. I decided to get up the hill, jump on a spring and go onto that spinning thingy. I tried to jump, I jumped, I messed around a bit. I was thinking that I might not do that in time, but after that I realized DJ Piri was free. We have the first bear on our list, so I decided to head for Dr. Christopher. I tried to jump as fast as I could, and I messed around just a bit, but then I headed for the levers, I punched them, I spawned the ball, and I had to repeat the process because yeah, they would mess around if you don't press them. And the ball got stuck. I had to restart the level. After this one big fail, I tried again, I repeated my moves pretty much better than I did before, but I got stuck at the spring, and now I was heading for it. It was a switch game. Yeah, I managed to get them, but accidentally I punched the lever and the ball was pushed off, and I had to restart again. After that I pretty much had to lock in, so I jumped around, jumped, and I got on the spring. I'm getting there to Dr. Christopher. I pulled the switches. I think I did pretty much good job here. I didn't think that I would do it like at the third attempt, but yeah, Dr. Christopher is free. After that I pretty much didn't know what to do, but I decided to head into the cave under the waterfall. So I was jumping around, I had some problems in water because I couldn't jump out. I missed my jump right here because I wanted to jump on that blocky thing, but after that I saved Tommy. After I saved 3 bears, I realized there was a big yellow arrow above my head for some reason. I jumped underwater, I had some issues to get into the cave, and now I was heading up to get the key. I belly stomped, I jumped, and that's how I saved Blackbeard. I realized that there was a big yellow arrow above my head because it led me to Bear Gate. Yes, it's not Coin Gate anymore, but I decided to unlock it to spare me some time in the future. I pretty much had no idea what to do, but I decided to take my left route. I jumped around again, and I had one small issue. I tried to get on that fence on the right, but when I belly stomped, I got hit once and twice. So I decided to take the right route, and I found a spring there. I jumped up, and I saw a cage in the distance, so I jumped like crazy. I almost got hit by the bee. I managed to pretty much skip the minigame that was intended to be there, but that's how I freed Bob. I decided to take the right route this time because, yeah, I got hit way too many times trying to get there, and I flew up in the air, I dived, I jumped around again, and I got up. That's where I had one issue. I remember there was something in the river, but I wasn't sure if it was a bear. But luckily enough, it was a bear, and we saved Madeline. After Madeline, I decided to get Barry, the boss bear. Yup, there are bosses in this game, so I had to get up again. And as I said, unlocking the gate could help me a lot in the future, so yeah, that got me some spare time. I jumped right into it and got a cutscene from Barry and the Golem. And right here, please don't judge me for my skills. I haven't played this game in a long time, it was years. The fight started and I jumped around the turtle. I decided to give it some spanking, and I went right back into the same position I was in. I've got hit while I was belly stomping, and that wasn't a good sign, and oh. I pretty much died, but I managed to revive myself. I jumped around again like crazy to avoid the turtle. I gave it some spanking again, and yeah, he decided to go ultimate on me. He had not one, 2, 3 bounces around the wall. I spanked him, and yeah.
She freaking died!
Another cutscene appeared, and I managed to grab the key, jump around, and free our last bear, Barry. I pretty much decided to head back to the bear village, so I will be able to pass on to another level. We unlocked the arcade world and the Snow Valley, one of my favorite levels in this game. I've realized something though. I was missing one bear. It was like 6 minutes gold time, but I didn't know where to find it, so I decided to pass on and maybe move it in another episode. But for now, I'm gonna change. I changed my skin into Fresh Frosty, and pretty much after that I did this. Yeah, I pretty much hit the sign. Kinda embarrassing, to be honest. After climbing on vines, I decided to head to the Snow Valley. After spawning in, we get hit with this beautiful view on Snow Valley. I pretty much didn't know what to do, but I decided to head for Vlad. I was attacked by this little thingy from under the snow. I grabbed the key, and that's how pretty much I saved Vladimir. After respawning, I had a small dilemma on where to go, who to free, and what to do. But I decided to do what Frosty does the best. Puzzles, of course. I headed for Alex. I climbed up the rocks. I jumped around. I tried to not fall from the platforms, but now you can watch me solve this puzzle. After completion, I got the key. I missed once, twice, and 3 times, but I freed Alex. After respawning again, I decided to free John. I jumped on the eagles, trying to make some pathway, like shortcut, and I pretty much messed up, so I had to restart the level. Respawning again, I didn't repeat my mistake. I jumped on the climbing wall, I got to igloo on the right. You can see there is an igloo, pretty much hidden there, but yeah, I grabbed the key, I managed to get out, and I tried to platform around these bad boys, but I fell down. I jumped on the wall, I climbed again, and that's how I got up, up and up. I flew in the air, I kinda missed the jump, but I managed to free him. After saving some bears, Arrow appeared above my head again. I didn't know where to go, but I've noticed one cage on the cliff, and I decided to go for it. I jumped around, I belly stomped again, but I messed up, so I had to restart. I didn't want it to rush this time, so I managed to get on the house, jump up, belly stomp on the platforms, and go for Rudolph. I tried to get up as fast as I could, I jumped on the spring, I missed the key. I jumped on the spring and I freed Rudolph. After respawning, I was pretty confused on where to go. Should I get the boss bear? Or should I look around? I realized something, that we have just 4 bears out of 10 and there was like one gone again. So I pretty much decided to get on that cliff, because I've expected some cages there. So pretty much without thinking, I messed up already, I jumped on the wall again, and I tried something stupid. I wanted to make that jump, but yeah, I got hit by a block and I had to restart the level. I repeated the process without doing anything stupid this time. I climbed the wall like a normal person would, I jumped around, I jumped, I've got onto the wall and realized there was a bear actually there. So I went to save him, I belly stomped again, got the key. That's how I freed Flake. I realized that I didn't restart and I found Skia's cave. And if I wouldn't do that, I would probably forget about her. So exactly after that, I wanted to get her, but I didn't know where to go, so I decided to take the basic path. I jumped around, I got onto the wall, I jumped like crazy, I got onto another wall, I jumped on the safe area, I jumped on another wall, I got the key, and I decided to get above this spiky thing and I freed Skia. Now I decided to save the boss bear. I had 6 out of 3 bears, so it was pretty easy to do. The Yeti jumped on me pretty much. He said something and I decided to just go for it. I didn't have much issue without remembering his pattern, but sometimes he pretty much got me, like when I was belly stomping. Yeah, I had to mess around sometimes, of course. The snowballs were kinda annoying, but I landed my first slap and flew into the air. I was thinking I could attack him again, but it actually takes some time to hit it again. So I repeated the pattern, I jumped around, I belly stomped pretty much because it was the easier option. I almost got hit there because I was pretty much unconscious at that moment of recording. I jumped around, I skipped the ball, I jumped again, belly stomping time. Here you could see that I pretty much missed it by like a second. So yeah, I got another hit. After that I realized it was his last phase, so pretty much I repeated the same thing. It took me a while, yes it did, but I haven't died to it though. So pretty much the process repeated itself and you can watch the thing right now. I got my last slap on him and I got pushed into the air. I saw a weird guy staring at me from behind the tree. Shika told me something, I didn't listen, I grabbed the key and I pretty much freed Polaris. We unlocked the Bimotev Desert and another level, which is the giant house. It's pretty normal house to be honest. But I realized again that there was another bear that I didn't found. Yeah, I was pretty confused on what to do there, but I've headed to the Bimotev Desert. Yeah, I tried my best to spell here, but I have some problems like, blah, you know what I mean. So I jumped right into it. We spawned in, Shika said something to me, I didn't listen again, I saw some cages though, but the most important thing, damn! I saw this car, but I had to pretty much go after that. I love it, I saw, what the hell? I didn't realize I even pressed that on the menu. I found that and I randomly pressed it, I didn't know what to do. But pretty much I went to the water, I jumped on the crocodile, my finger slipped off the screen, so I managed to get the key after that. I jumped around and I freed Cleo. I pretty much didn't know where to head, but I saw something in the sky. It was a floating key, so I decided to jump into my car, I messed up, and drive there like crazy. I hit the wall, I jumped out, I belly stomped and I managed to get up the wall. I missed this pillar on accident and I realized there was some sort of lever somewhere to get there, but I didn't see it, I just saw the floating key, so I managed to go for it and I freed Alexander. I managed to head to the tower, so I got into my trusty car and I drove there like crazy. Of course I jumped out, I managed to get onto platforms and I started to slowly make my way up there. I slowly jumped around, I tried to not fall down, but I saw a jumping pad. I managed to land on these bricks, I belly stomped to get up, I grabbed the key that was inside of the tower and I got down. My camera glitched out a bit, but that's how we managed to save Numerobis. After that reset, I decided to get to my car and I decided to head to the Fennec village. I crashed my car again onto the wall, I jumped, my joystick didn't again detect my finger, I jumped on the wall, I jumped on the buildings, I messed up my belly stomp there, I belly stomped again, I got the key, I jumped like crazy collecting these coins and I freed Amos. I hate Phoenix. Oh my gosh, these little creatures can break your run in a bit, because whenever you hit them, the car just stops, there is no move, just stops. I right away went into that maze. I didn't know where to head, to be honest, but I just went randomly and I found some platforms. I got on the wall, I tried to jump on the platform and then on this big one, but I hit myself and I had to reset. Again, I got into my car, I learned on my mistakes and I didn't hit the fang this time, so it got me pretty much faster moves. I jumped out, I decided to go right this time, but I didn't find any platforms there, but I found the staircase. I jumped up, I found another platforms, I got on them, I climbed, I was crazy about that. I got the key, I jumped on a sand bear somehow. It was looking pretty cool, to be honest. I got there, I jumped on the platform and I freed Grumble. I respawned again, I looked around and I asked myself the weird question: what is the pirate ship doing on the desert? And then I decided to go into that pretty much dungeon, which has platforms, invisible ones, that are pretty much hard to see, and I got in. First off, I tried to belly stomp and get out of there, but yeah, button didn't work, so I had to get up on them. I belly stomped and I pretty much didn't have to press any different button, because yeah, it was pretty easy to get out. I got out of this dungeon, I decided to go upstairs, maybe check out that pirate ship later, but I got to the platform, I got on the statue, so many sandbears were spawned in, and I just dived for it. There were so many sandbears, I didn't want to get any more damage because it could easily end my run, but that's how I saved Ramses. And the final bear was sand. It was in the pyramid. Yeah, pretty difficult to get in, to be honest, because of these bees. Yeah, but I got in and I pretty much blindly went for it. I managed to find my way out. I spawned in a boss room and I jumped on the sarcophagus thing and... holy shit. Guardian actually isn't one of the hardest bosses I fought before, but I realized I had to press these buttons and I could just get her stuck in one place. So I went around her. I've gotten in correct position on that big square, so I managed to get to the button. I squished her again. I crushed her again and she spawned even more phoenix. So I went around her, she got stuck in this position and I waited a bit. I crushed some phoenix in process. She went right into my trap and then I pressed the button and battle was pretty much over. The camera got in weird position, but I grabbed the key, I jumped around and I freed Sand. Again, after respawning, I pretty much had no clue where to get the last bears, so I went to the giant house and I spoke to the scientist about upcoming video. So yeah, that pretty much was the part 1 of 2. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll stick around. Leave a comment, like and subscribe if you can and if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll be seeing you around. Bye. Frosty was here.